Welcome to New York's #2 sports show. The Rangers have traded Sam Carrick to the Buffalo Sabres in exchange for a 2026 third-round pick, which is the Sabres pick, and a 2026 sixth-round pick, which is the Chicago Blackhawks selection. So, recording this pretty shortly after the Ranger Leaf recap. And I had found out during that episode that this trade was going down. Now, we knew that he was being dealt based on the fact that he was held out of the game, right? Carrick and Trocheck were not playing, and therefore that was a pretty big giveaway that they were to be dealt. And the first domino falls as far as Carrick is concerned. Now, we didn't know for sure that he was going to be traded. I mean, it was always a possibility, but he wasn't an unrestricted free agent. Sam Carrick was signed to a 3-year deal before last season worth $1 million for each season, which is an extremely reasonable cap hit. He has been a really, really solid fourth line center for the New York Rangers and someone that kills penalties. And, he has gotten into his fair share of fights, especially this season with Matt Rempe being hurt. Like Carrick, in 20 less games than last season, only has 5 less penalty minutes, which speaks to that. Look, last year, 80 games to the Rangers, 6 goals, 14 assists, and 20 points, and was a +5. This year, in 60 games, 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points, -2. So, look, I mean, he played just shy of 12 minutes a game last year, where this year was 10-25. So I guess the role in some ways has lessened, but also he was that fourth line last year was just more effective, where it was mostly not the whole season, but it was Edstrom, Rempe, Edstrom, Carrick, and Rempe. Whereas this season, it started out that way with some success, but then Carrick, it's really just been a slew of different line mates. There's really been no consistency there for him. He has been the constant, and someone that was very durable. He had come over after being traded to the Edmonton Oilers and was really mostly a healthy scratch in that Oiler playoff run, where the Oilers, the first time in which they lost to the Florida Panthers, where they reached Game 7. He did play 10 of those games, right? But it was a mix. I mean, he played 9:15 time on ice per game. Um, and he had been with the Anaheim Ducks for quite some time, really from the 18-19 season till 23-24, where he was dealt at the deadline to the Oilers. Now, the interesting thing there is that a first round pick was actually involved. And look, maybe that speaks to Edmonton more than anything, but like part of that was why I was hoping that maybe there was a chance that somehow the Rangers could maybe get back a second-round pick for Sam Carrick. I know that kind of sounds crazy on the surface, but when you look at some of the other trades that were being made, I thought that it was in play. It is a third pick, which I think was the bare minimum of what you could accept in a Sam Carrick deal. I think if it was anything less than that, honestly, I don't know that it would have been worth doing it. But I am very much in favor of trading him. He just turned 34. I don't see his value necessarily increasing. Like, let's say you wanted to trade him at next year's deadline. I don't see how the value would increase. I think that, Buffalo now gets him for a year and a half. Now, look, maybe Sam Carrick is someone that isn't so effective and is someone that's kind of on the outs next year. Who knows? But they get the third round pick, they get a sixth round pick, which it's Chicago, so it'll be on the high end. It'll be early in the sixth round. But look, to be fair, like that is very likely to be somewhat of a throwaway. It's really the third round pick that they get this year. And the crazy thing with that is, think about the 3 trades to this point the Rangers have made. Carson Soucy, Artemi Panarin, and Sam Carrick. All of those deals had the Rangers acquiring a third round pick in 2026. So including theirs, they have currently 4 picks in the third round. And with the Keandre Miller deal, they got a first round pick from Carolina or Dallas, depending on how it shakes out there with that condition. And then Carolina's second round picks. So with the Rangers first, in the first 3 rounds, the Rangers have 7 picks, which makes it sound a little bit better than it is, right? It's not as if they have 4 in the first round, it's 4 in the third. So again, kind of like how I saw the Soucy deal, you're doing and the Soucy one, he was a free agent at the end of the year, so there was that one you couldn't really question much at all. The Carrick one, I could see some people not being a fan of it, and I get it, but I am more of the mindset of everything being equal, I'd rather just sell. And that's kind of where this goes here. It's like, I think that while Sam Carrick was really effective and like his cap hit, like he had a great value, right? It's $1 million for what he brought was really actually a very good signing by Chris Drury. One that I was actually at the time, I didn't really love it when it was made because it was 3 years. It's, because of what his age was, I didn't think it would be great. But you watch Sam Carrick, that's a very competent fourth line player. And again, a center that can kill penalties. I know that he at times was good faceoffs wise. I'd have to check now to see what the percentage is this year. Let's see. Still good, 53.9%. So, yes, I mean, he's someone in his career that averages 52%. Last year was 54.2. So again, he's good, on the dots. And, he can chip in a little bit. Like, I think that for Buffalo, I think he's someone that will help them for their playoff push. I do. And he's someone that I would see, again, not knowing the full scope of the Sabre lineup. I think that he'll be in there almost every night. Now, obviously, the Ranger roster and forwards are not nearly as good as the Sabres, so maybe there will be a time when he doesn't make the lineup, but I think he will be helpful for Buffalo. And as far as the Sabres are concerned, them specifically, the Rangers couldn't get a second-round pick this year or next year. For this year, they had traded the second-round pick away when they made the Josh Norris, Dylan Cousins deal with Ottawa. So that was out. And then around the same time as this Carrick deal, the Sabres swung a deal with Winnipeg, acquiring defensemen Logan Stanley and Luke Shen. And that deal had them send a second-round pick to Winnipeg. So as far as Buffalo was concerned, this 2026, because you were never getting a first-round pick, this 2026 third round was the best that they could do. Now, obviously, there's other teams in the league, right? But clearly, this had to have been the best offer that Chris Drury got and felt like it was worth pulling the trigger. Because again, he could have said, "Hey, let's push this back. Let's make this something that happens, next year." But Sam Carrick is now a Buffalo Sabre, and now we wait to see what happens with Vincent Trocheck. And I really hope that this is a big time return, but it's hard to be overly optimistic. It just is with the way things have gone, and you see some of these trades, and it's like, wow, like this is such a seller's market, this and that, but you have to go in with caution. And this isn't so much a rip at Chris Drury. It's a little bit, but it's more so just, I know the Panarin situation was different, but it's not like we've been blown away by a Chris Drury deal yet. Now, to be fair, this Vincent Trocheck deal is a lot different than any one that we've seen before. He's got 3 years after this season on his contract. So again, there isn't much of an equivalent to this, right? Like even Pavel Buchnevich, it was different. Like that was a terrible trade by Drury, but it was just, he was a restricted free agent. He was younger. This isn't me saying one was better than the other. I'm simply saying it was different. And, most of the other deals made that had any bit of selling element to them, was more so, taking on salary, the salary hit, it felt that way, at least in some cases, whether it was right or wrong. Like, in the case of a Trouba, a Kreider, the term was less and Vincent Trocheck's perceived value was higher as well. So I'm hoping for a decent sized haul for Trocheck. We're going to find out where he goes. There's been rumors to Minnesota, Detroit, Carolina, just to name a few. And there could be a mystery team or two involved as well. And I'm curious to see if there's other trades too. I mean, just because Trocheck and Carrick were the only players that were held out of the lineup doesn't mean there won't be other trades. Now, I could see like a Brennan Othmann being dealt. Like I'd almost be surprised if Othmann is not traded. I'm expecting him to not be a Ranger after the trade deadline, but we'll see. Like, I don't necessarily think Braden Steiner is dealt, but crazier things have happened. And that's the thing, right? We're all kind of expecting Trocheck. For me, the question is it somehow anything more than that? My answer is I think no. But maybe there's things going on that we have no idea about. But again, Sam Carrick, fourth line center for the New York Rangers, who is in the second year of a 3-year deal worth $1 million against the cap, has been dealt to the Buffalo Sabres. And the Rangers get in return a 2026 third, which is Buffalo's, and a 2026 sixth, which is the Blackhawks. selection. So 4 third-round picks this year for the Rangers. Their own, the Kings in the Panarin trade, the Islanders in the Soucy trade, and the Sabres in the Carrick trade. So I'm not sure if it's just sort of coincidental or if the Rangers somehow see this draft and think that, oh, there's value to be had in the third round. I hope that's the case, but I think it's more just so the way things laid out than anything. So again, 7 picks in the first 3 rounds for the Rangers in 2026, and they're going to have to make those work, because if they don't, then the Rangers are in big, big trouble. So yep, we will discuss once we find out the Vincent Trocheck situation. Anything else, we will be sure to discuss it. And this is just one of the dominoes to fall. Again, Sam Carrick traded to the Buffalo Sabres.